It is Thursday, June 13th here at the West End Gun Club. It's right around 5:30. I got here about 30 minutes ago, setting some stuff up here on the upper range of the facility. I don't have the day off from work, so I just came out here to get some rounds in before I go into the office, quote unquote the office, because I work from home. But I need to get some rounds through my Vudoo 360 with the DI Precision 25-inch barrel, Mullerworks barrel that was threaded on by DI Precision, because I got to take it to Mesa, to the Capstone / Lapua Rimfire Performance Center to get it tested in the tunnel. And I wanted to dirty this up a little bit because it is kind of clean. I cleaned out the chamber. I think I accidentally did it twice. Like I cleaned out the chamber, because you clean out the chamber, soak a bore mop with C4, Vortex C4 carbon cleaner, and just put that in the chamber, and then kind of just swab it out, and then run a patch to it, and that's it, right? So it's kind of clean, but I want to get a little bit dirty, and then we'll have that ready to go for when I go to the Capstone Performance Center. And I figure I might as well take the time to do a little bit more testing with the dope calibration for 300 yards with this gun, because I haven't really taken the time to do it. Otherwise, I would just take it to the rimfire line and just throw rounds on it at 50 yards and then make it dirty. But we'll take the opportunity to work on the 300-yard line. So let's go ahead and start shooting, because I'm not going to be here too long. So I put a paper target at 50 and then a steel target at 200 and then 300. We're just going to go ahead and get this bore dirty, and then confirm what my 50-yard zero is going to be for this morning. And then we'll shoot on 200 and 300. I am getting some velocities here. I don't know, what's average of 1089, standard deviation of 12 with this batch of long range. But not really too concerned about that right now. I just want to shoot to dirty this up. It is kind of breezy, left to right, which shows on target. I am off by 0.2 here to the right. So back to 1092 with a standard deviation 9.8. Weird. The wind's different out there. So it's a left to right wind now to, yeah, it's a right to left wind at that point right there. It's been probably, what, 8 months now? Close to 8 months, 10 months, 8 months, 10 months with the Garmin Xero C1 Pro Chronograph, and I will say that I don't know if it's revolutionary, but it has greatly leapfrogged in terms of convenience of chronographs. Now, lab radars are very convenient compared to what they replaced, optical chronographs, but the Garmin stepped up the game in terms of portability and ease of use and simplicity, and so I think it's just a huge jump up. And I wrote a review and everything, but wrote a review like 3 months after I had the Xero C1, but going on to now, it's like, I don't know, I just, you realize how good it is. But we're on at 300. I don't know what that sound is. I think it's coming from my headphones, my electronic ears, but we're at 300. I'm going to hold left about 2/10, 3/10. We'll see where we are. Okay, we're a little bit high on target. I dialed the 12.6 that are recommended. Holds a little bit off to left. Okay, it's hitting high. Hold straight away. Not sure where that printed. Okay, it's hitting low now. I think we can adjust to 12.6. Oh, sorry, I put 12.7. I think we'll go 12.5 rather. 12.6, now 12.5. Okay, it's printing right at just above the wire line, but probably an inch. Non-shooting related topic. I get often asked about how to get into cybersecurity because that's what I work in. I hate calling it cybersecurity, but that's the industry term. I always call it information security. So I am the manager of security operations at a university. And so what that means is I basically handle kind of incident response. If there's an alert, whoa, that missed low. Whoa, 1068. Wow, that's a bad shot. 1068. Huh. Anyway, I handle incident response. And so whenever there's an alert, suspicion of a, alert, which means you have suspicion of an intrusion, possible intrusion attempt, anything like that, or malicious activity, that would be my team. So essentially, we're kind of like a security operations center, which we don't really, I don't know. Security operations center is kind of what the industry term for people to handle those types of things. So, but I have operations analysts, security operations analysts, who do that work. And that's just one aspect of information security or cybersecurity. You have get terms like red team, blue team. Red team are people who actually attack you. These are people who attack your infrastructure to find ways to get in. You got blue team, who are basically the people who defend against those things, which kind of a SOC would be a blue team in theory.
You have risk people who handle risk, so you have to assess risk in your environment to how vulnerable are your systems. If you have a vulnerability, it doesn't mean that it's there's a level of severity, right? Because you might have a way to get in, but is that way to get in easy to get to, right? And even like, how do you get to that vulnerability to exploit it? So there's certain levels, right? So risk handles that, and you have compliance because there's so many security regulations that we have to comply to. You have also your organization's regulations. You might have internal audits, and they're saying, hey, you have to meet our internal compliance for that type of thing. So you have compliance. So it's all aspects of security. And believe it or not, some people, there's areas of information security or cybersecurity, you don't have to be very technical. You don't know how to write code or anything. You don't have to know, I hate the term writing code. You don't have to know how to program or to be a developer. You don't even have to understand like systems or systems administration. You could get into security in other roles, but how do you get into that? And a lot of people ask that question, and fundamentally, I think the biggest issue is that you have to, I think, in my opinion, you have to understand computers in general, architecture in general. You have to understand systems administration, in my opinion. And people who want to go into cybersecurity fresh out of college or just get a cert and like not even be in IT, the biggest issue is just you don't have experience in IT. So when I'm trying to hire you, we look at your resume and you come from another background, but you have certs and you have like this book understanding of things like what is malware, what is ransomware, and stuff like that. How do you read this network log and ascertain what it means? That's cool, but the thing is, a lot of times people get into security, they don't understand, well, how does that apply to an actual real world environment? And so if I throw somebody in our environment and I say, hey, go read logs and go threat hunt and see what's happening here, like who's attacking us. A lot of people won't understand because they don't even know what they're looking at. I give them a set of logs and you have like, okay, I have a network log, but what is it transversing to? Like, this is border traffic, this is data center traffic, this is east-west, internal lateral traffic. I give them host logs, well, is this SSH attempt, so what? Somebody's, there's a bunch of failed logins. Is this a serious issue? What's happening here? And so people don't understand, like, what these logs mean and what do they mean to the infrastructure. And so whether or not it's even a security issue. So there's a lot of nuances there. And that's why I tell people you should probably get a job in IT in general. And help desk is, a lot of people, like, they have an aversion to help desk. And they think that, help desk is like a very low-level role. And in some regards, it is an entry-level role. And in theory, I worked help desk when I was a student. In my first few years, I was working in what we were student computing services. We were the ones helping students with academic computing stuff. But I also had systems administration type of experience in that role because I had to manage Active Directory. I manage internal Linux servers for our internal team. So help desk gets you your foot in the door in IT if you don't have IT experience. And I know a lot of people don't like that idea. They feel like they might get stuck in that situation. And I don't want to put down help desk. I know a lot of people who work in that area, and they've been there for a long time because they're good at their job. They're actually managing their own help desk team, and so there's a level of there's a good level of skill required to handle help desk, and it's also being able to help people in general in terms of being a good communicator, and also being able to teach people, because in order to help people, you need to be able to teach them how to do something because you're doing it over the phones or whatnot. But anyway, I digress. Help desk role, maybe stick to that for a couple of years and then try to work your way laterally to some other position or in another organization, but that gets your foot in the door. If you can get a systems administration job, a DevOps job, anything like that, or managing infrastructure, that's even better, because inherently you have to understand security because you're going to be setting up systems, and hopefully you are incorporating security concepts in your work. Like, you're not going to stand up some Linux server and set up, MariaDB or Postgres SQL servers and like leave it wide open to the world, right? You're going to incorporate security concepts and mindset when you build your architecture and set them up. So that's a good way to get in. A network job, network engineer, that's also good. But that in itself, they kind of want you to have certs for that, especially if you work in a Cisco heavy environment. The CCNAs and stuff like, or sorry, not CCNAs. I don't even know what they call those Cisco certs because I never looked into that stuff. But I mean, network engineer is good position or like good role to get into, but again, that requires other training. And so, all I'm saying is that if you want to get into cybersecurity and not coming from IT, you're going to have a hard time getting in. Your foot in the door, unless you can somehow demonstrate your capabilities effectively to the organization. But I say it's easier to just get an IT job in general that you can just gain experience and then laterally move into a position in that org or move to another org.
So I ran some checks here, and it looks like we might be settled on 6.5 for 200 and 12.5 for 300 with a 0.15 for BC maybe. I need a larger target for 200. It's a small beer can target. It's like barely 3 inches wide, I think. 3 inches wide. So it's not very good with this squirrely wind that's happening because it's moving it left to right. And so I'm having a hard time getting on the water line. But I think we're at 6.5, and I think I've adjusted my BC for that. I'm going to get a larger target next time I'm out here so I can not have to worry about wind, and I can just water line for my rimfire trajectory. But right now we're recording 56 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty cool right now, which it's been warming up here in SoCal. But I think we have some basic numbers here. But again, main reason though I'm out here, aside from taking advantage of this opportunity to shoot 200, 300 with rimfires, I need to get this barrel dirty for a trip to the performance center. So gonna try to get some ammo for this DI Precision barreled rifle, and hopefully we'll get something good here as far as finding a good lot while we're at it at Mesa. And it's gonna be hot in Mesa. I checked the weather right now, and it's right now it's like 110, 112 in Mesa, which is insanely hot. And if anybody knows anything about Arizona weather, it's not even hot yet. Like July and August is when it really kicks into gear. So you're talking, they'll be in high teens, 118. That's insane. Anyway, it is 6:30, so I need to pack up my gear, cook up my targets, and get out of here so I can get home and start working. And I don't know, work from home. I've been doing it now since 2020. It's grown on me. I mean, at first I was kind of against it, and now I'm just used to it. And I was against it I think work from home, it requires a lot of discipline. I think a lot of people abuse work from home. And so I think that's kind of why there's a lot of antagonism between employees and their managers about work from home. And I think people saying, "Oh, returning to the office, you just want control over us." And I think that's true in some regards. I think there is a mistrust for managers for some people, and not in my team, but I know in other teams there's like people I would not want them working from home because I know they're not going to be working very well. They're not productivity, but my team is really good, especially in the security operations. They don't even need. And I've always thought security operations didn't really need to be in the office, right? Virtually, you can work from anywhere. So that's why I feel like our team works really well, and my employees are very committed to the role. So I've had no problems there. And I think for me, the only reason I'd want to go to the office is just to like have a nice quiet place, because working from home, a lot of times you have a lot of noises. I mean, my neighbors, they constantly have gardeners coming out on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So that is just killing my meetings in the day.
You have to like have noise canceling headphones and stuff. And yeah, that bugs me. So I think that's the only thing I would appreciate from having like going into the office again. But other than that, work from home, I'm so used to it now. I think if it ever came down to going back to the office, I wouldn't mind. It's just I would not have to like, obviously my org is fine because my commute to work is like not even 15 minutes. But yeah, I mean, going back to the office, it has to be key on commute because I've never had to commute very far to go to work. So that's why I don't mind going to the office. But anyway, enough rambling on non-shooting stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Today is Thursday, June 13th, here at the West End Gun Club. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vlog.